In this video, I'm going to share my 3 years of Android development journey. I'm going to share my experiences and all the tips from the ideation process to publishing your Android application on Play Store. So if you're an Android developer or even if you aspire to become an Android developer, this video is going to be very important for you because here I will guide you using this very important roadmap. We will discuss SEO tips, prototyping, testing, a lot of things in this video. So make sure to watch this video till the end. So hi everyone, my name is Vishal and I'm founder of ThinkX Academy, and I keep creating this awesome content for you guys related to programming, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and even Android development. So make sure to subscribe our channel to get a lot of good, free and knowledgeable content. So let's get started with the video. So the first thing comes with the whole process is the ideation step. Ideation step is the most important step. At this step, most of the developers get stuck. They basically start developing the apps before even having a good idea about what the app is going to serve to the users, right? Because you're going to develop an app, you're going to publish it on the Play Store. So you need to think about what are the features this app will have and what are the things that user will get out of it. So ideation is very important. First of all, you will have to just write 5 or 6 important features that your app is going to provide to the users, and basically we have a term here known as user retention. So I'm going to write here user retention. So what is user retention? User retention is basically if your app is good, every day the user is going to come back to your app and use those features. So you will have to think about it. What is the idea? See, you do not need to just think about it at this step, the whole idea of a big company like that. No, just pick up some features, 5 to 6 features, and just write it on paper, and then you just need to understand why. You'll have to keep asking yourself why the user will install my application and why he will keep my application on his device. Why will he not uninstall it? That's the whole crux of user retention. User retention plays an important role in SEO also, and Google Play Store actually analyzes this whole thing, user retention, and on the basis of that it even ranks the whole application. And I've even seen that good results comes when you will monetize your application. If your user retention is very good, you're going to get a good lot of money from that user retention. So the first step is essentially a very crucial step. The second step is the research. Now research is very important because whatever idea you are building, it is more likely that already a lot of developers have built that idea. So what you will have to do is you will have to download their applications and take a look at what are the features they are providing and how you can make them more simpler, or maybe you can add some feature, because if you will do something which has been already done by someone, it is less likely to get good attraction from the users, right? So you will have to do a lot of research on what are the things that will be there inside of your application and what is the competition level on the Play Store, right? It also comes from your experience. Like if you're using an Android device in your everyday life and you think that this I searched for this application, it wasn't available on Play Store. So basically that could have been a better idea. You could have implemented that yourself, right? So it all comes from ideation. That's why the first step is ideation, right? Once you have the idea, then only you will be able to do the research part. Now let's move on to the next part, which is prototyping. In prototyping, we're not going to actually build the application. In prototyping, what we're going to do is we're going to just make some layouts on paper or anywhere. What we will do is we will just write there or draw there the screens on how the app will look like. So basically what you can do is you can draw some screen layouts, like the application will have some features, 5 features in the bottom navigation bar, and here we will have this content, and the features that you decided in the ideation part, you will have to just represent it in the prototype, right? We're not building the whole application, we are just building a design or the prototype, right? Next step is learning to code, right? Now you must be confused, like why we should first do the ideation, then research, then prototyping, and then learn to code? Why can't we just start from learning Android development right away in the very first step? This is a very important step, and even I made this mistake initially. You will first have to think that when you are learning Android development is vast. It has a lot of different concepts. So if you want to develop a particular application, you just need to understand how to implement those features inside of your Android application. So your learning should be confined to that only, and you can even learn some more basic stuff like backend, frontend, and that stuff that is common for most of the application. But understanding the whole you can say Android development, you cannot learn the whole thing. So what you will have to do is you will first have to do all these three steps, then only you will be able to learn how to implement the things, right? So let's say there is a feature in your application which requires backend. So in the learning part of Android development, you will understand how to implement backend databases inside of your Android application, right? So that's how it will work, and that's the right path to choose. That's the main reason why I have made this video, because it is going to guide you a lot. So in the learning part, if you are an Android beginner, you want to develop Android applications, on this channel I have already created an Android development playlist for beginners. So it covers some backend and front-end basics, and we have even built a YouTube clone app, so you can actually get started with the project also. So what you can do is you can start from the Android course, which is available for free. I'll give the link to that in the description below, right? So let's move on to the next step, which is testing. Testing is very important. Most of the developers, including me, when I first published my application, I was in a hurry to publish it. So you will have to avoid that. You first have to understand that in the ideation part, you have understood that your application is going to provide these 5 features. You will have to test those features very aggressively in the testing part. So before publishing it, you will have to test it on different devices. The way you can do is install a software known as Genymotion. In Genymotion, you can actually install various emulators related to different Android versions like Android Oreo, Nougat, and even 11 or 10. So what you can do is install your application on those devices, test all the features you have included in that, and once you have implemented that part, right, you have now learned to code. You have got a good application to publish on Play Store. Make sure to test it on different devices. You will understand this, that once you will implement in different devices, there are various kinds of bugs that will come depending on various devices that the application will get installed on, right? So what you do not want is that if a user install your application on certain Android version, and if the app crashes, that is going to get a very bad impact, and the user will simply uninstall your application, which will leave a bad impact on your application. Things will have to work you will have to work very precisely in Android development if you're taking it seriously. If you're taking your Android app as a whole product which you have to deliver, you will have to make sure that you establish a good user experience, right? So the next step comes the SEO part. So now let's assume that you have made a good application which also provides some of the best features, and it also you have tested it on various versions and it is working fine and everything is great. This part is very important. Even I miss this part, right? What I did was, after learning how to code the application, I was in a hurry, so I just published it right away by writing just simple description of just 20-30 words and choosing a name that cannot be ranked easily. So that's why this step is very important, right? SEO. Now in SEO, what you will have to do is, I'm going to tell you this very important tip. It really works, and it worked in my case also, and this will actually give you a lot of organic users. And I've seen this, basically it comes from my experience. I have basically researched a lot on this, and on Play Store I've seen a lot of applications that are ranked at a good level are using this SEO tip, right? So what is that SEO tip? When you're writing the name of your application, right, let's suppose you are making an application related to to-do app. So instead of getting a very hyped name, or let's say you have chosen a made up name of yourself and something like that, it is less likely to get a good position on the search result, because it has never been searched before and the users are not going to search it, right? So if you will choose such type of a name, you are not going to get good organic users, right? Until and unless you promote your app using ads and all of that, which we are not covering in this video. We're just covering the organic users, how to get them, right? So SEO is important. So what you can do is, this is a very important tip. Instead of naming your application, let's say today if I've made a WhatsApp, right? Let's say WhatsApp is not yet available on Play Store and I have built a WhatsApp app and it has the features like chatting and all that stuff. Let's assume that WhatsApp has not been built yet, right? There is a lot of competition in the Play Store. Remember that this is not the time when there were only few hundred or thousands of applications. Now the Play Store have a lot of applications, right? So if you will choose this type of a name, it is going to be less likely to succeed, because there is a lot of competition at this particular time, right, in 2021, and in the future it is going to become more competitive. So instead of choosing this name, what you can simply do is, do not use this app name, just understand what are the features that you have in your application, and your app name should go like this, like chat with your friends, right? Chatting, comma, you can write something like video calling, right? And you can even take example of my application on Play Store also. Initially I named it ThinkX Academy, and it wasn't and I was not able to get good organic users from that. So what I did was, I changed my name from ThinkX Academy to Learn Programming for Free, comma, live video classes and all of that stuff. That immediately ranked up my application on Play Store, and I was able to get 10 to 15 users daily, right? That was pretty impressive at that point. So that's one thing. Now if you're ambitious, like you want that the user should know the name of the application, the name of the company, what you can do is, in the developer name you can write that, right? So in the developer name, which will come below the name of your application, you can just display that it is WhatsApp, right? One more thing that you can do is, in the developer name you can write WhatsApp separated by a colon, right? You will write this colon, and then what you will write is chat application, right? So whenever this result is going to come in front of the user is going to understand, okay, this app will do these things. This is the name of the app, which is basically a chat app, right? You can take the example of my app, which is on Play Store. It says Learn Programming for Free. The developer name is ThinkX Academy, and then I have written here that Learn to Code or something like that, right? So that's a very important SEO tip while writing the app name, the description, the developer name, right? Coming to the description part in the SEO, description is very important. And believe me, the early stages of Android development, basically most of the developers skip these parts and they just publish it on the Play Store, and they get depressed that why their application is not performing well. Well, the reason is here that you have not extensively done the research on how the search works, right? Even Google does not share this info. So these are coming from my experiences, and it really works at this point of time. Now coming to the description, you will see that Google Play Store allows you to set a description of 2000 words, right? I guess 2000 words, I don't remember the number, but 2000 words is a lot, right? So if you will write a description of only 20-30 words, your application is less likely to get on the SEO, right? So what you will have to do is, in the description, the first 40 to 50 words should explain the basic idea of your application, which is chatting with friends, video calling with friends, and sharing media, all of that. In the rest part of the description, whatever you have done in the ideation part, you will write all the features and you will explain them one by one, right? Everything that is about your application, explain them. You have a limit of 2000 words, which is a lot. Make sure to drop each and every keyword that you think will get ranked in the SEO, and make sure it relates to the app title and even the developer name or something like that. That will really help in the SEO part, right? So now let's assume that you have done these steps. Now your app is ready to be published on Play Store. One important thing here is do not publish it on the production line, right? So basically you have various options when you are trying to publish an Android application. You can publish it on the production line, you can publish it on the beta line or the beta channel, you can even publish it on the alpha channel, right? So once you have developed the version 1, let's say the version is the first version that is going to be uploaded on Play Store, do not upload it on the production, upload it on beta, because you will understand that most of the code that you have written, sometimes in production when it is in the Play Store, it is not going to work that well. There will be some of the errors related to APIs. I have encountered some of them and it will leave a very bad impact on the users. So let's say initially 10 or 15 users are going to download your application and they will face that issue. It will be a very bad thing, right? So what you can do is you can upload your application on beta channel or alpha channel, right? It's your choice, and you will test it by installing it from the Play Store. So now you can test it. After testing, if there are no bugs, you can then push it to the Play Store, right? So that's a whole important journey. One last important tip, which is once you have published your app on Play Store, never tell your friends or anyone to download that application and give a good review like best app or something like that. Even I have done that and it really pulls down your app from good SEO results. The reason is here that if you will tell your friends, let's say you tell your 50 friends, right? Let's say you have 50 friends who downloaded the application, right? Out of those 50, most of the people are not going to use your application, even if it is feature rich or not. It depends on their use cases, but most of them, what they're going to do is after some time they will leave a review. They will leave some good reviews, which is great, but if they will uninstall that application, then it will come to this point, which is user retention, which is very important. So if they will uninstall your application, well, that will leave a bad impact on your whole Android application and the SEO part, right? So search engine optimization actually depends on user retention a lot, and even if you are deploying some ads in your application, you want good retention, right? That's the only way you will be able to earn more money out of your Android application, right? So these were all the tips related to this video. Make sure to like this video, and if you have any doubts, you can ask it in the comments. So that's all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching.